In the days leading up to Clemson's game against Georgia Tech, Kelly Bryant said the team practiced with a wet ball to prepare for the rainy conditions that would probably await them on Saturday night at Death Valley. And based on the way Bryant was throwing the ball, it must have worked wonders. He zipped each of his first 2 passes of the game to Deon Cain, the second of which was a 38-yard touchdown that gave Clemson the lead for good. After missing the second half against Wake Forest and playing gingerly against Syracuse, before missing the second half of that game too, Bryant looked like the top-tier quarterback he'd resembled in the early goings of the season. His passes sung through the soggy Death Valley air, he nimbly navigated running lanes with deft precision, and he orchestrated scoring drives that all but erased the painful memories of the Tigers' last game. Because as we've seen, when Bryant is healthy, Clemson is an entirely different animal. He had 2 weeks to heal his ankle and to get through concussion protocol thanks to the bye week. He told reporters his ankle was between 85% and 90% on Monday, and even if that final 10-ish% didn't completely get better over the last handful of days, it's still the best option Clemson has at quarterback by far. And that's not a dig at Zarek Cooper or Hunter Johnson by any stretch, but to pretend Bryant isn't the one who can operate the offense at its most efficient level is incorrect. But there were obviously going to be questions about Bryant's ankle on Saturday and just how close to full capacity his ability would be when the game kicked off. Bryant ended up finishing 22 of 32 for 207 yards and 2 touchdowns. He knifed a perfect pass to Milan Richard later in the first quarter after connecting with Cain on Clemson's opening drive, and he scampered for 67 yards on 12 carries, both team highs. Georgia Tech is a worthy opponent. Before Saturday, the Yellow Jackets had lost just twice, each by a single point, but Clemson has had considerable success stopping their triple option offense in each of the past 2 years, so it's safe to say defensive coordinator Brent Venables wasn't going to get caught off guard with 2 weeks to prepare. Because of that, Bryant might have had less of a burden on his shoulders to win this game than, say, he would next week. North Carolina State lost to Notre Dame on Saturday, but the Wolfpack are still leading the ACC Atlantic. Clemson has to win next week to keep any ACC championship hopes alive, and with that, any dreams of potentially repeating as title winners. Clemson needs Bryant at his best in what essentially boils down to a must-win game. If his performance against Georgia Tech was any indication, he's ready for it.